আপনারা দেখছেন WB24 নিউজ, দিনে রাতে জনতার সাথে।
Information and audio file information. Well, that's not all. We have a lot more for you. I am Nancy Kohli. First, a look at the top headlines. Facebook is launching avatars for Messenger and the news feed. WhatsApp is releasing 3 new features. Google Map is testing a new alert for taxis when yours go off the route. YouTube is changing its community guidelines to ban videos promoting the superiority of any group as a justification for discrimination against others based on their age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation or veteran status. The move, which will result in the removal of all the videos promoting Nazism and other discriminatory ideologies, is expected to result in the removal of thousands of channels across YouTube. Here's more.
YouTube is changing its community guidelines to ban videos promoting the superiority of any group as a justification for discrimination against others based on their age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation or veteran status. The move, which will result in the removal of all videos promoting Nazism and other discriminatory ideologies, is expected to result in the removal of thousands of channels across YouTube. Explained by the YouTube, today we are taking another step in our hate speech policy by specifically prohibiting videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation or exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, religion, sexual orientation or veteran status. This would include, for example, videos that promote or glorify Nazi ideology, which is inherently discriminatory. The decision by YouTube, which is owned by Google, is the latest action by a Silicon Valley company to stem the spread of hate speech and disinformation on its site. A month ago, Facebook evicted 7 of its most controversial users, including Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist and the founder of Infowars. Even Twitter barred Jones last year. Back in January, YouTube announced changes to its recommendation algorithm after reports found that its system was promoting conspiracy theories and fake news content, amplifying such information. YouTube did not disclose the names of any channels yet, which are expected to be affected by the change. YouTube and its parent company Google have the right to operate the way they see fit. Will that be good for an open internet overall? Will that reduce the problem in other forms? Only time will tell.
Now, Facebook is preparing to trade the yellow smiley for emojis that actually look like you. Facebook Avatars allows users to create their cartoon look-alike. The feature is initially rolling out to users in Australia, but the social media network aims to roll out the feature to the rest of the user base by early 2020. Take a look.
Facebook has released its new Facebook Avatar Bitmoji-like tool. The feature allows users to create customized digital characters to represent themselves in Messenger chats and newsfeed comments. The feature is currently only open to users in Australia, but all Facebook users will be able to create them sometimes at the end of this year or early next year. The feature initially rolling out to users in Australia, but the social media network aims to roll out the feature to the rest of the users base by early 2020. Creating a Facebook avatar is a simple process. If you are one of the first users to have the feature, a new smiley face icon will appear within your comment windows in Newsfeed or your sticker drawer on Messenger. Tap on it and a creation flow wizard will open up, allowing you to build your own Facebook avatar. Users will be able to start creating their avatars with selection of gender-neutral people to customize with 18 traits and clothing items. The company says it imagines avatars will come in handy for users who want to stay anonymous in profile photos or in group, which is a funny thing for a company literally called Facebook to say. The feature could make Facebook feel more fun, youthful, and visually communicative at a time when the 15-year-old social network increasingly seems drab and uncool. Avatars aren't quite as cute or hip to modern slang as Bitmoji, but they could still become popular way to add some flair to replies without resorting to cookie-cutter emoticons or cliché GIF. Users will be given 18 customizable categories to use for your avatars, different hair, clothing, facial features, and more. While there is currently no way to scan an image and have Facebook create a realistic avatar automatically, this is a feature the company is allegedly also working on. Don't be confused with Facebook's VR avatars. Those are totally different things. They could still happen. Facebook's likely refining the process as a rollout happens. But at present, it's just okay. It will be interesting to see if it catches on with users.
One of the benefits of living in the smartphone era is the sheer amount of convenient software solutions available at the push of a button. Now, if you need food delivered at your home, just download an application. But now Google Maps is testing a new alert for taxis when yours goes off the route. Here's more.
As part of the many new features Google is experimenting with and adding on Maps, the search engine giant is testing an off-route alert feature, exclusively in India for now. Intended to keep users safe while they are riding in a taxi, the off-route feature would notify users every time their cab gets sidetracked from the intended course by 500 meters. Besides ensuring users' safety, the feature is also intended to help them avoid being tricked by a cab driver while traveling to an unfamiliar part of the city. Tech giant Google recently introduced new features such as speed cameras, speed traps, and report crash in its navigation app on Google Maps. Now the company has rolled out yet another new feature in the app, that is speedometer. This feature will enable users to stay within the speed limits. The app will warn the users if they are exceeding the speed limit wherever you are driving. In addition to letting users report road hazards, accidents and speed traps en route, Google Maps also rolled out special commuter features for users in India, including real-time bus travel information and live train status. Google recently acquired Waze, a GPS navigation app which provides turn-by-turn navigation information, and user-submitted travel times and route details. The Mountain View-based tech giant has been incorporating many of Waze's features in its own Google Maps after adding an indication for speed cameras, speed traps, and the option to report possible hazards on the road. Maps now has also added a speedometer to the navigation screen. Along with this, Google also introduced some India-specific features in Google Maps, such as bus schedule based on live traffic, live train status, and mixed mode commute suggestion. Google Maps will also begin revealing the train status for intercity trains. Last but not the least, the mixed mode commute feature will give users mixed suggestions if they are traveling via public transport such as auto rickshaw or bus.
And now it's time for us to take a short break here on Social Connection, but do stay with us because next hour we're coming up with a special report on the Apple iTunes shuttering news. Stay tuned.
An eye on big news of the day. With a close watch on developing stories, news of the nation, world, sports, markets and entertainment in a new style. Incisive analysis of the big stories by DD News reporters and experts. Watch Midday Prime English, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. only on DD News.
एक अभियान जिसने बदल दी देश की तस्वीर, जन आंदोलन में बदला स्वच्छता अभियान। गंदगी मुक्त भारत के लिए राष्ट्र हुआ एकजुट। देश के हर कोने से स्वच्छता की खबरों के लिए देखिए डीडी न्यूज पर विशेष कार्यक्रम स्वच्छता समाचार, सोमवार से शुक्रवार शाम 6:50 पर, सिर्फ डीडी न्यूज पर।
WhatsApp received an update recently that has brought 3 new features to it. These include consecutive voice messages, forwarding information and the audio file information. Forwarding information feature lets the user know how many times a message has been forwarded. The consecutive voice messages feature allows automatic queuing of voice messages, while the audio information feature shows the name of the audio messages that you forward or upload natively. Much more in this report.
WhatsApp is hugely popular on Android, iPhone and on desktops via the firm's web service. The software is regularly updated to bring new and useful features to its users. In a latest update, the messaging app has rolled out 3 new features on its Android beta app. First, to tackle the spread of fake or even just sugar-coated news on its platform, the popular messaging app has brought forwarding info feature onto the version 2.19.154 of its Android beta app. Now you can tap on any message you forwarded and in its info screen, see how many times you've sent it over. Messages that have been sent more than 5 times will have 2 arrows before the forwarded label to depict that they are being sent frequently. These details will be presented alongside read and delivered information that is shown when a user highlights a message. However, WhatsApp fans are not able to see how many times a message has been forwarded if it is sent to them from someone else. Next is the consecutive voice messages feature. In WhatsApp Beta for Android version 2.1986, the feature is now available to all the WhatsApp users who are using the latest beta version of the company's Android app, that's WhatsApp Beta for Android version 2.19.154. Now with this update, the consecutive voice messages will play automatically. All users need to do is tap to play the first voice messages and all other voice messages in the queue would follow. The feature is awesome for chats with contacts who keep sending small blurbs for recordings instead of a full message, or those who often forget to say something then tack it on as a separate note. When you play these, an audible beep will sound at the end of one message, then WhatsApp will move to the next, and so on until you're done listening to all. Lastly, WhatsApp has also rolled out an option that shows the name of the audio messages that you forward or upload natively. While the feature doesn't work if you hold and send a WhatsApp audio message. However, if you forward the same message or if you send another audio file, the message will show the name of the audio file.
iTunes time is up. After nearly 2 decades of revolutionizing how we listen to music in the digital age, Apple is shuttering its iconic music listening and library application. The shutdown of iTunes comes after Mac introduced a new line of products and software, including the updated models of the Mac Pro and its new operating system, Catalina. On the new operating system, iTunes, which launched in 2003, will be replaced and consolidated into 3 separate applications targeted for music, TV and podcast. Check out the detailed report.
It's the end of an era for Apple Music lovers. The tech giant announced during its annual Worldwide Developers Conference in San Jose, California, that it will be breaking up iTunes, the desktop application that helped jumpstart the digital music economy and made Apple a force in the entertainment industry. Now there will be 3 apps that replace what iTunes currently does: Apple Music, Apple Podcast and Apple TV, each managing part of what the increasingly lumbering app had included. Craig Federighi, Apple's Senior Vice President of Software Engineering, said, "With Mac OS Catalina, we're bringing fresh new apps to the Mac, starting with new standalone versions of Apple Music, Apple Podcast and the Apple TV app." Apple Music offers its 50 million plus streaming subscription catalog alongside a user's downloaded, purchased and stored, perhaps CD-ripped songs. Apple Podcast opened doors to more than 700,000 podcasts with a search tool, as well as recommendations and curated collections by editors. Apple TV, meanwhile, offers 100,000 iTunes movies and TV shows to browse, buy or rent, including some available in 4K HDR, including Dolby Vision, along with Dolby Atmos. Apple introduced iTunes in January 2001 as the world's best and easiest to use jukebox software, with the first iPod announced later that year in October. 2 years later, Apple launched the iTunes Music Store as an easy way for consumers to download albums and individual songs as well as TV shows. Apple founder and CEO Steve Jobs promoted the iTunes Store as a way forward just as the music industry was beginning to decline because of widespread digital piracy. While iTunes became a default app for just about every Apple user, the software had plenty of critics, many of whom greeted news of the program's demise on social media. In recent years, iTunes had become a large program and often ran slowly despite redesigning efforts.
বিদ্যা বিবাহ দাম্পত্য কলহ প্রেমে বাধার সব সমস্যার সঠিক ঠিকানা তন্ত্রসাধক পরমেশ্বর শাস্ত্রী চেম্বার কাকদ্বীপ ডায়মন্ড হারবার সোনারপুর শিয়ালদহ অন্যত্র সমাধানের জন্য আজই যোগাযোগ করুন 8327020602। ডিজিটাল ভিডিও ক্যামেরা ও অনলাইন সাইবার ক্যাফ মানে স্কাইনেট বীরেশ্বরপুর কলেজের সামনে।
খবর দেখতে সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। আপডেট থাকার জন্য পাশে থাকা বেল আইকনটিকে ক্লিক করুন।